This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and E3's over, and we saw a lot of great things, and there was a lot to take away from it, and that was positive. But of course, one of the things that we will probably not take away in a positive light for a good while now is people's attitudes towards gaming, in particular gamers themselves. Now, to me, this year's E3 was a very encouraging sign. Now, E3 has been evolving. Game coverage, period, has been evolving, to be quite honest. If you notice, like, these big tentpole shows aren't the things that they used to be. I remember there was a time where PAX, for instance, like, everybody gets kind of hyped for PAX as far as the gamers are concerned, but on a media level, PAX isn't the way it was. PAX, basically, the media stuff gets taken out in advance from the floor show, and the floor show is just about people getting together, hanging out, meeting different personalities, getting to see stuff that they never seen before and whatnot, and just enjoying themselves. It's not necessarily about being a huge gaming media event, because again, like I said, they take care of that kind of beforehand. And then you look at other things like Gamescom. Gamescom is the biggest gaming convention in the world, and it has hundreds of thousands of people there. That being said, you've noticed a trend where these companies have taken a step back from doing these grand presentations and press conferences during Gamescom, and just letting their stuff be seen on the floor, and letting the games get played by gamers, you know, get hands-on experience from gamers. In the media, they do their coverage, but it's not as, again, grand as it used to be. E3 is becoming the same thing. The big media spectacle that it is isn't what it was. It's still kind of a gamer's holiday, because we kind of look at this data as the kickoff for these big events where we start rolling out with a lot of big gaming news. But if you notice, a lot of the bigger gaming news tends to precede or comes after E3, because these companies now are utilizing the tools that they have. They don't need to like spend all of this money to set up these big elaborate setups and do these huge grand presentations at these events, because the internet allows them to share information, and people like Sony are doing their own thing. They're taking the QuakeCon approach, and they're like, let's just do a fan fest once a year, and like, you know, have a weekend where we just, you know, thank our fans and celebrate them, and then we give them a couple of information drops and we move on from there. But these big huge conventions aren't the go-to places for gaming news, nor are they the go-to place now for quote-unquote gaming drama, I guess, because these companies have grown up immensely. No longer do you get the whole I'm going to come at you and I'm going to take the crown type mentality in these presentations like you used to. And you used to get that a lot when it came to E3. It was like all these companies were really trying to go at each other really, really hard. Nowadays, no, they recognize, yes, we are competing, but not like the way we used to compete. Yeah, we're competing from a business aspect, but all of that, I need to one-up Microsoft, or I need to one-up Sony, or I need to like have Nintendo make a splash and make a statement. That's gone. The statement is in how good your products are these days, and these companies recognize that, and they're selling that. And I said it to my boy Eurostrix. I think E3 2013 was the last time you were going to ever see that big grandiose, let's put up a fight between each other thing ever when it comes to gaming, because these companies, these execs, all of them, they're much more on a more friendly competitive level. It's not something that they just want to do to knock each other out. They're trying to make people recognize how great their product is without being dicks about it. And I think that is something people just don't seem to truly understand anymore is that these companies want to sell their product and they want to push it, but they don't want to push it in a childish manner. That's gone. The days of Sega does when Nintendo don't are now far behind us, and these companies are recognizing that people aren't just buying stuff because, you know, they're recognizing we have a more mature market to sell to. Not everybody who started in this gaming thing want to continue to be that way. So they're trying to appease to a more level-headed, practical way of going about selling their product. That being said, gamers don't seem to want to have that because people have been really, really negative about these conferences. The Microsoft one took a lot of heat. You know, EA, rightfully so in some ways, took heat because their presentation is horrible. But a lot of the heat that these companies are taking is because, oh, you didn't push this agenda. You didn't come at them. You weren't going hard enough at your competition. You know, I don't want, like, oh, Sony just fucking let Microsoft take them out, and Microsoft just let Sony grill them, and like, oh, you ain't letting me live. It's like, some of that sometimes is funny and cute when you're playing around, but too many people take that mentality way too serious in gaming. And I think they need to start recognizing that these companies have realized that that's the bullshit way of going about things, and that's the immature way of going about things. And gamers have yet to catch up to that mentality. That's why you're going to get a lot of blowback on this E3, because it's not your old E3 of yesteryear when again, you know, Microsoft getting on stage like bragging about numbers and stuff like that. Sony's killing it this year. They didn't do a whole speech about numbers and stuff like that. They had some awkwardness to their press conference, but for the most part it was just like, we just want to show you what we got and hope you enjoy what we have. They weren't getting out there giving, like, you know, hyperbole, talking themselves to death, which I found a lot of people were angry about that. Like, you didn't get these moments where the devs came on and talked. And it's funny because this year, when you did get dev talk, it was mostly independent people, and they weren't like going way too overboard. They were just being very passionate about what they were doing. They were being honest and open, as opposed to what I guess people wanted was marketing speak guy come out and tell you how awesome this game is, how it's going to kick everybody's ass and stuff like that. Kind of like what Bethesda did. That's partially why Bethesda didn't rate that high with me, because Bethesda kind of still leaned into that old school thing, and it was like, nah, I don't need your, you know, pre-designed jokes and your rhetoric. I just want to see what you got. Shut up and show me what you got and move on. And it's funny, again, a lot of people give Square Enix extreme flack for how they did their presentation, how short it was. Now, if you want to give it flack because you didn't think they showed enough or showed a lot in that time, I'll accept that. But did we really need a bunch of Square Enix execs coming out like we've had in previous years with Square Enix talking about their product? Did we really need to have like random guy pretending to play a game on stage as a demo? Did we really need somebody to tell us what their earnings were for the past year? All that stuff, that's out the window. It's old, it's cliched, it's dumb, and it's funny because I'm about to use a cliche term to describe this, but like my boy Eurostrick said, who won E3 this year? Gamers. And that's where it always should be, is that we should come away feeling like we've seen a lot of exciting, interesting stuff that we're interested in playing and purchasing down the future. We should be happy that our medium is going strong and that we have a lot of different choices and a lot of options, genres, a lot of different things being done, things being taken to a next level in storytelling and expression of emotion and things like that. You know, that's what we should be fucking going nuts over. Yet we're going nuts over they didn't like challenge their competitors. We're still in this whole schoolyard fight mentality with gaming, which is very, very sad, and I wish it would go away. I sincerely hope that eventually the gaming community matures to the point and realizes that, hey, we don't need to be like this. I don't need to fight you because you prefer a certain product or prefer a certain type of game. I don't need to sit here and have these silly arguments about who's better because of what they're into. I just want to enjoy games. I hope you're doing it too, and we can all celebrate how awesome fucking playing games are. But we got a long ways to go. It seems like the companies have started to get it a lot quicker, and are developing that, you know, kind of mentality. Because again, all this like grandiose maneuvering and stuff like that. Sure, you're still gonna get the exclusivity thing, but they're gonna want to like make products like, you know, a part of their brand, things like that. That's business. But the perceived attitude of I'm gonna do everything to crush, you know, the life out of my company, my competition by being a dick and just bragging about it later, it's just gone. It's over. And these grand big tentpole conferences aren't going to ever be like they were. They're going to be more for us to come and see and enjoy and things like that and interact, and less of these big great press events that we're going to all fucking like super celebrate for its pettiness and its, you know, shots being fired and all that shit like that. Like, it's funny because I'm looking at the press conference and I'm looking at my timeline. I'm looking at all the people talking about how many shots were fired by each company. Like, they really aren't firing shots at each other. They're just showing their product. You know, never once, even in the like horribleness that was the Bethesda conference, never once did I ever see anybody come up and try to take digs and shot at their competition. There was really no shots fired. They were just, everybody was just showing the best of what they had, which is what you're supposed to do when you're trying to sell a product. So yeah, I need the gaming community to grow the fuck up really, really fast. Just grow the fuck up as fast as possible, please. Anyway, as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers and I'm out. Deuces.